going to show you how to put together a 8-inch frame steel door for a steel building. I hope I get all the shots that you need to put this thing together. It's pretty simple, but it's kind of hard when you first do it. I've done it hundreds of times. So. So it comes with this little pin. We want to take out this side, not this side. You got a little hole right here. Well.
Armando. Yeah. What is it? Oh, I put one more piece in the middle. What? Yeah. One. Yeah, you do it, no. You need a quick. You need it smart.
Up or down?
Groove right here for our seal, and you see there's not one here because we got it upside down. So we lay the frame on the floor, make sure we have our groove all the way around. We got this side for the door lock, and we have this side for the hinges. And then it's just as simple as 2 bolts here and here on both sides, and that gets your jam. I'm going to put my bolts down because this is going to lift the bottom of that purlin. You have this purlin up here at 7 foot. Well, it's actually 7'3". Well, my bad, 7'4". And the lip on the top of this door hooks that purlin. This door requires a lot of tools, so you'll see in a minute we'll have every tool you can think of. Get a number 3 Phillips for these screws here that's in the door hinges. A number 2 will work, but you will strip them very easily, especially if you're using an impact. And do not use that variable trigger. Make it go real slow. So I got this white portion that's a hard plastic, and it's going to fit in the groove just like that. And it's as simple as putting it in. Just push it in, massage it in with your fingers. So we're just taking some snips. So now we're going to install the hinges. And for some reason, they send a bunch of wood screws in every bag. I guess this is if you had a wood frame behind it that you would use them. But we are always doing metal buildings with a metal frame and a steel frame. We never need them. So we use these little short ones to put in the hinges.
Number 2 Phillips.
And it fits in there just like that. You see it? We got a set screw to keep that pin from falling out. When the door is closed, it's hidden, so you can't remove the hinge and get in the door. But always make sure you put that at the top. And one of the bags comes in these 10 screws. Little black ones is to attach these two pieces. This one goes in the door first, and this goes on the front. I'll show you that in a minute. These 4 screws, if I could show them to you, they are to go through this mechanism all the way through the door to the other side of the doorknob and attach them here. But the screws I want to show you now, I got some little, I don't know if that's focusing, but they're half wood screw and half machine screw. That's not focusing, is it? But you got some with a number 2 Phillips, and you got 2 with a number 3 Phillips. The number 3 Phillips is for where the door lock goes in the frame. So we'll go ahead and put these in our frame. The number 2s is to attach this mechanism to the side of the door. And it's as simple as just slotting it in the hole. So this door company sent me with a number 2. Usually it's a number 3, same as the hinges. And this has a little lever, a little catch right here. And I'm gonna put it right there. And we're gonna bump it. Just a little easy. And it flushes up. Nothing to it. Now because we're using a hammer don't mean we hit it as hard as we can. Just a little. But I want these 2 to connect so I don't have no leaking under my door. Alright, so when we put our frame together right here, we had a little light. We had a little light showing. We still got some showing. So we're going to pull that tight and then tighten these bolts. Slide the top in. So we already have our base trim on, and we notched it out for the header. But right here, we're past our door jamb a little bit. That's gonna kill out into the door. So I'm gonna slide the jamb back. And then we're gonna put us some wedge anchors right here in each slot. We're gonna level the frame. And we're gonna throw a screw in the top. So we put a 1/2-inch wedge anchor at the bottom, and we got these slotted holes, and that's going to help us for adjustment. So we're measuring from the doorknob to the top of the door leaf. Measure from there to the center of your doorknob there.
41.5 would be.
So now my man held the door while I put some screws in the hinges, and I just put 2 in every hinge and snugged them. Now we're gonna go back and fill them all up. Ideally, we would put a level on the door this way, but as you can see, we're not perfect on our level. Then we'll take the level and put it on this side, Here again, we're not exactly level, but we're the same unlevelness on this side as we are on this side. What happens is, whatever level this is, when the door swings shut, if this side is different, we may end up where the door doesn't touch the seal at the top, but does at the bottom, creating it to not have a square shut. On this one here, it's flushing out pretty much all the way down. Well, it's sticking out here a little bit. So we're going to loosen these bolts and slide the jamb out just a tad. That way our door shuts on our seal the same all the way from top to bottom. So rather than use the level is an ideal way, but every building, there's some movement in the building. The concrete guy didn't do his job just right. The roofers didn't do their job just right. So we can't shove this door out off of the concrete and have a big rat gap at the bottom. So we're going to do the best we can and make sure the door works ideally rather than on level. So we moved the jamb out. We could only get about 1/8 of an inch, and we still have somewhat at the top. The door is pretty much flush, but at the bottom we're still hanging out another 1/8 right here. So what we're going to do is take the other side and move it back in. We'll take the other jamb and move it back in. That will create the door to swing in at the bottom more. Instead of using the level, I want to look at this crack at the top. And I want to keep the same reveal from this hinge side to that side. So what I do is I'll remove that screw that's temporary, and I'll push the door to the right, and that will close up this gap a little tighter because it looks a little bigger than that side. I don't know if you can tell in the video. And I'll get the same reveal across the top. And then I'll know that my door leaf is sitting square in my door frame. So the door installation's as easy as that. Put your jamb together, put it in the hole, halfway level it, put a tack screw, bolt it to the floor exactly where you want. Install your door leaf, and then come back and tweak your door leaf square to the jamb. And level doesn't always work. Ideally that's what you want, but if you'll just move the top left and right, then that'll adjust the squareness of the leaf to the door jamb itself. And in or out, just make sure both sides are the same levelness, even if they're off level, and then that way when the door shuts, it will touch the seal at the top and bottom. Now all we like is installing the doorknob, and this door is installed. One thing to remember though is this building is in frame stage only, so when we come back tomorrow, we will more than likely have to tweak this door again, being that this frame moves and it will move overnight. The door may move again. So what I would do is run half the wall with panels to square it up to take the movement out, and then I will do a final tweak or a final adjustment to my door jamb before I cover it around with metal. Once the metal siding's on, it's very hard to tweak it. There's some grooves right here that this piece slides into with the door, so when you turn the doorknob, it moves it. So we got this little groove right here and this plate, and it just hooks in this groove with the door right there. And then we tighten up the 2 middle screws, and that'll pull this doorknob tight to the door leaf. As you can see, there's a groove right here. Here, you also have this groove right here. And you put this screw that we talked about earlier into there. So now we're going to take this, and it has a little indentation right here, and this indentation slips in right here. I don't know if you can kind of tell, but it's a little groove, You take it in there and pop it on, and you turn it just a little bit, and it stays on their top. Then we take the doorknob, make sure it ain't outside the door, and it slides on here. And if you can see right here, here's this little lever that we used that little pin earlier to take it off. And it pops in that groove right there on the inside. We bump it on. And there we got it. And it don't come off, because that little pin, that little slit thing in there holds it. You push this in, that keeps the door locked on the outside and doesn't let this move. The knob still moves, but if you come from the outside, it'll move it. Now that this door is out, then the outside will be able to have an entry. And that's how you install a door.